Hey again, people. It's me. Now, I know I occasionally ramble and just babble incoherently. But I hope that's part of why you want to watch. You want to see what the heck's this guy going to say next? Because I'm just thinking out loud, people. What am I going to think about today? I think today I'm going to think about this morning's drive to the gym will be your ego. Your ego. Now, I think I'm going to direct this one at my son because that's the one that worries me because I know what it felt like to be his age. He's 16. Now, when I was 16, the most important thing to me when I was 16 was what everybody thought about me. That was my biggest worry when I was that age. Because in your head, you feel like an outsider, at least I did. I felt like a horrible outsider. So I'm, doing everything I can to be cool. I'm trying to wear clothes that I think are cool or that I think other people will think are cool, even if I necessarily didn't like them. If I saw everybody else wearing them, then I felt like I had to have them too, just so people would accept me. That was my biggest fear, was not being accepted. That's what drove a lot of what I did. Trying to be accepted by the masses, by everybody, especially by that little Oriental girl that was in my second and third grade class. I really wouldn't have minded impressing her, if you know what I mean. But that's why I did 90% of the stuff I did when I was in my teenage years. Mainly from like the age of 12, and I'm going to say clear up to 25. That's one of your biggest driving forces is you're trying to cultivate the person you want everybody to think you are. And in trying to do that, you hide the real you with all you've got. Occasionally you'll let it slip out around your real friends, around people who get you and people you're comfortable with, your family. You'll let that person slip out. And everybody loves that person because that person doesn't feel fake to them. You can tell that person doesn't care and is just having a good time. That fake you, that ego that you're trying to build, that one you can tell isn't real because as much as you try to make everybody think that's who you are, you always slip up a tiny bit. And it's just the way we are as humans. You slip up a tiny bit here and there, which you don't think are big deals because nobody noticed it. I can play it off. But in everybody else's head, that kind of lens, it just makes you seem just a little bit fake. Like, that's not the real you, that's just the you want to be. And that's the hard part. In my head, from what I'm thinking, I know this is going to sound crazy to a lot of people, but who knows? There might be some people out there that look into this stuff like I do, that say, no, you know what? You are completely validated, and here's why. They'll give you a whole list of reasons and papers and doctors and all kinds of crap that you don't care about, but that they've looked into, so they kind of have a knowledge base that they're coming off of, so they kind of know what they're talking about, just a little. Just mainly because they've looked into it, where you just make assumptions on a lot of stuff. And those assumptions are what kill everybody. Assumptions are horrible. Because you always make the wrong one, or at least I do. I always make the wrong assumption. Now, the main reason I'm making videos and recording just my thoughts and putting them out there is, I think I've told you before, but I'll say it again. I've got a really, really overactive emotional center, I'll call it. My grandpa was the same way. That's just the way we are. If I hear somebody singing, like my daughter, if she's singing and she's not really feeling it, so you can tell she's not putting it all in there, then I feel like I have to give her that, hey, yeah, that was really good, good job. And if you know who I am, you know that feels kind of fake. I don't think you really mean what you're saying. If you know me, that's what you think. Because if you know me, you know if you sounded really good and I was really proud, I'm probably leaking a little bit around the eyeballs. My cheeks might be a tiny bit flushed. I tear up, I well up. I'm like, oh, I'm so proud, you're doing so good. That's just how I am. And yeah, I got picked on for it a lot, so I tried to hide it as much as I could. But that act of trying to hide it is what makes people think you're fake. That's what makes people think the you that you want to be isn't the real you. No matter even if it is part of the real you, people start second guessing it and wondering, is that the real you? Is that the real you? I can't tell if that's the real you because I've seen you slip up here and there. That's why I am who I am no matter where we're at. People don't think I'm fake. That's my biggest gripe with people. That's my personal biggest issue with people, is not being yourself. It's like, that's the one thing that just drives me insane, because you have people, I won't mention anybody's names or I just won't even mention anybody, but you'll have some people that you'll see them in public, you'll see them in schools, that they'll say one thing to a person's face, but then when they turn around, what they say about that person isn't what they tell them to their face. And it's like, what? No, wait a second. Well, didn't you just said this, but now you're saying this? What is really going on? So you don't know what that person really thinks. So in your head, you have no idea what that person is actually thinking when they tell you anything. Because you've seen them say two different things about the same person. So you don't know what's true and what's not. That's my biggest thing to try to get through to people if we're ever going to make stuff better. I'm just now figuring it out myself. And that's why I don't know, I feel like I'm bursting with joy. I'm happy because now I see what's been bothering me. Yeah, there's still a whole bunch of other stuff that's bad. There's things out there that are crazy, that are going insane, that make you mad, that piss you off. But once you find what's really bothering you, and you're able to admit it to yourself, what bothers me about what you're doing, about what's bothering me, when you can be honest to yourself about what it actually is that's bothering you, then you've got no problem telling people, hey, this is what I think about what you're doing, and this is why. and it makes me feel this way. That's the most important part, is to get out that it makes me feel this way. Because if you don't tell people how it makes you feel personally as a person, if you don't tell them how that makes you feel, even if you think they're going to call you stupid or dumb, or they're going to, even no matter what they think, you have to tell them what you feel. Because if not, they'll keep doing it and making you feel that way. And it'll drive a wedge in between you and people. You always have to let people know how that makes you feel. I was horrible at it, and it drove me insane. And I don't want you or anybody else who might be listening to this to try to help themselves get better. If you're struggling with depression, if you're struggling with addiction, a lot of depression and addiction problems, I'm not going to say all, because I don't know that it's all, but for me personally, a lot of those depression and addiction items stemmed from me not being able to say, I don't like it when you do that because it makes me feel this way. My biggest fear was feeling dumb. That was my biggest fear. I didn't want to feel dumb. Now, I was embarrassed to say why I didn't want to feel dumb, because I thought that me explaining why that made me feel dumb would make you think I'm dumb. I thought that would validate my dumbness in your head. I didn't see that that's the smart way to do it. I didn't see that. Now I do, and now I'm happy as heck. I see it. I can be myself. And I know that if you don't like who I am, that's fine. Tell me you don't like who I am, and I'll explain to you why I am like I am. And if you still don't like it, then that's the good thing about living here in the U.S. You've got your First Amendment. You can tell that person who doesn't like why you do what you do, you can tell that person why you do it and why you think it's right. The most important part is that, because then you can each talk through it and you can see each other's point of view. Now, if you've watched any of my older videos, you know that perception and perspective, that's really, really important. Knowing how somebody sees something, knowing how to see it from their point of view, that's the most important thing any of us can do, is just try to see it from their eyes. I never talked about that with people because I was afraid in their eyes they would see me as dumb. That's why I look into so much stuff. That's why I start off with what I know about something, almost like I'm trying to prove that I've already looked into it. And then, yeah, I try to get the last word in. But if you listen, you kind of notice that sometimes those last words are just little things to let you know, hey, I've actually looked into this, because I know that a lot of people don't. They just go off of assumptions. And those assumptions are what kill a lot of people's creativity, their happiness. Those assumptions aren't good. They're not reliable. Your assumptions are horrible. I've always been a data type guy. I've always wanted to know one question about anything, and that's never changed. The one question that I've always wanted to know is why. Because I want to understand how it works. That's just the way my brain works. I want to know, why do storm systems move? Why do hurricanes form over warm water? Why do satellites stay in orbit? Why do airplanes leave contrails sometimes, but other times they don't? Why do cars not run on water? Why does gasoline vapors burn, but not the liquid? I've always wanted to know why. When I was little, I didn't want to be a nerd, but my secret self that I didn't want anybody to see used to take encyclopedias out into a cornfield where there was a big bald spot that always got water when it rained. That secret self would take out encyclopedias to read about how things worked. And I would go to the cornfield where nobody could see me, because on TV I saw kids get picked on for being nerds. I saw the nerdy kids in school never having friends or good-looking girlfriends or always being dorks. That's what I saw. I didn't want to be that kid. I wanted to be the cool kid that TV told me everybody liked. TV told me had good-looking girlfriends and had lots of money and good cars and people liked him in sports. That's who I wanted to be. I wanted to be that cool jock that I saw on TV shows. I didn't realize that in reality, the nerds are the ones who are going to make the money. And when you have money, guess what else follows? Good cars, because you got money. And if you got money and a good car, oh, now girls start looking at you. So if you really want what TV tells you being cool will get you, don't be cool, be a nerd. Because that nerd is going to be rolling in fat cash with a good-looking girlfriend in a snazzy car. Whereas that jock, who everybody thought was cool in high school, is probably going to try to play pro ball. He's going to fail. He's going to get injured. He's going to wind up working in a drive-thru or a gas station or a factory because he can't get another job because he's not as good at sports as he thought he was. He was good in his little school, but when he got out into the real world, he's nowhere near as good as some people who care about it a lot more than he does. So I couldn't physically be that jock, that athletic kid who was awesome at stuff. I couldn't do it. I had to be that nerdy one. So that's what I was up through elementary school. I was kind of that nerdy kid, but I didn't want anybody to know that I was the nerdy kid. And then I got in high school, and now my ego's the most important thing. So now I sure as heck couldn't be that nerdy kid. But secretly, I was still that nerdy kid. I just didn't let anybody know that was me. Once the internet came out, holy crap, buddy. You've seen how bad I can sink into it just because it's like a never-ending book to me. And to me, I'm a nerd, I admit it. You say it, you see it, you know who I am. You laugh at me, we joke. But I'm a nerd. A never-ending book that has every bit of information that you could ever wonder and would let you know how and why everything works the way it does. That's the most exciting thing I can think of because I'm a nerd. I'm sorry, that's just who I am. So, yeah, I rambled and I don't even know where I'm really at in this conversation now. So I'm going to the gym. So today's thought, I think I'm going to end, and I'm going to leave you with this. Just always try to be yourself, because you never have to worry about slipping up and having people think you're fake if you're always you. Because you don't slip up. That fake you that you want everybody to think you are, that guy can slip up and accidentally do what you really want to do. Can't let that out, because then people are like, whoa, wait, But you said you like this. You said you like this. You said that's what gets you in trouble. That's what makes people start questioning and being like, hey, wait a second. That's what I try to get you to not do. That's why I always say be yourself. That's why I am who I am. A goofy guy who embarrasses his parents, who embarrasses his kids. Because I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feeling. I'm just trying to get you to laugh. Because I know if you're having a bad day and I can make you laugh for a tiny bit of time, you're not having a bad day. Your day got better for that little bit of time. And yeah, it might embarrass some people. Some people might get angry. Okay, I didn't make your life any better. I didn't bring any happiness to you. But here's the people that get mad when I do the stuff I do, or get embarrassed, or get offended. Here's the people that see, hey, he's just trying to make me smile. He's just trying to make me laugh. He's not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. He's a good guy. People I make mad, people that I bring joy to, that's the difference. We worry too much about these people being mad and being offended that we forget to make these people's lives better. Which one do you think is more important? Not pissing off these people or making these people happier? That's the way I think. I would rather make this many people happy and piss off this many people than to focus on these people so they don't get mad. Because I would much rather have these people hanging around with me because I can be myself. These people won't let me be myself, so I probably won't feel as good as I should when I'm around them because I can't be myself. Which one do you think I'm going to focus on? That's me. That's what I'm trying to get through to people. So I really hope that if you watch this and you just see me thinking and recording it so that I can watch it later, to think, if I said that to somebody, how would that sound? Because that's my biggest problem. And that's a problem you have. I see it because I've lived it. That's what ADD does to you, buddy. ADD makes your brain go 1,000,000 miles a second. So when you try to tell somebody, you get out a little bit of this thought, you get out a little bit of this thought, you get out a little bit of this thought, you get out a little bit of this thought. So when you put what you said together, it doesn't make sense to a whole lot of people. And that's what I'm trying to work through. And I know you probably don't want to do what I'm doing, just because maybe it embarrasses you. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I forgot I have a doctor's appointment today. So now I got to go back to work, or to work, because I haven't been there yet. So I can't really go back to where I've never been yet. But I have to go to work, and I have to kind of step on it because I've only got 25 minutes to get there and clock in and change clothes. Ha! And you know I don't drive fast, so this is going to be stressful. But always remember, I love you all. Be yourself, the real you, and don't worry about pissing off that tiny fraction of people. Instead, focus on making that huge majority of people smile. Because while those people that get pissed off might be in charge or be your boss or get mad and try to tell on you, just remember, a lot of those people are only offended or mad because they wish they could do what you're doing. They wish they had the balls to do what you're doing. They wish they were able to make people smile and laugh like you do without being embarrassed. That's why it makes them mad. Because they wish they could be you. That's what I try to get through to people, but that's what a lot of people won't see because their ego won't tell them that's what they really want to do. They're afraid they're just afraid because of all of their assumptions. It's difficult to explain without me going into a 3-hour lecture about psychology and what I've all looked into, and so I'm not going to do that because you don't care. What I am going to tell you is, if you're yourself, you're not lying to anybody. You're yourself. You're not trying to say, yeah, this is me, when it's really not. And that makes you a more genuine person. The more genuine you are, the more people like you. That's why it's designed the way it's designed. Because if you're, let's just say a boss, if you're a boss and you have to say things a certain way as to not offend certain individuals, then the majority of people won't truly respect you because they will feel you are a fake individual, because in their head you act better than they do as to not offend people, and you're not really a truthful person because you act all high and mighty. That's what a lot of people who are, I don't want to offend anybody, but the working class that isn't a boss, the people that are on the floor, the people that are doing the work, the people mowing lawns, the people who work for somebody else, which is like 99.9% of people on the planet. The people who are employees and not the boss, they're genuine people, because a lot of them aren't trying to not lose their job or their position of team leader or boss or foreman or coordinator. They're not trying to, not offend anybody. They're just trying to be themselves. It's that tiny majority of people, that's the ones that it's just confusing. And I'm not even going to try to keep talking. I'm just going to go ahead and end it so I can upload it and you can see what I said. This is my talk for you because I love you and I want you to be happy. And this goes for anybody who thinks like I do, who's trying to get some mental help in the way that works for me, which, who knows? There might be somebody out there struggling with depression who thinks a lot like I do, that if they watch this, it could talk them out of killing themselves. It could talk them out of depression. It might help them. And I would rather help one person stay alive and piss off 1 million than to make 1 million people not offended and not really help anybody. That's just the way I am. If it helps somebody, if the only thing it does to other people is hurts their feelings, then it's just your feelings. A lot of the time, the only reason they're hurt is because of what you've been told you should think. Not because it actually hurts you, because the TV told you it should bother you. Because there's no ill intention. I'm just trying to be funny, not hurtful. So I love you. I love you all. Everybody have a good day. And I'll talk to you later.